Hello and welcome back to So Bad It's Good, the show made by the person who hates making it almost as much as he hates the people who watch it. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Today we're going to be reviewing a webcomic. But before we get into that, let me just ask you a question. What is the worst genre of fanfiction? Okay, they're all bad, okay? Fine, I know. Fanfiction is garbage, but what is the worst type of fanfiction? I'll give you a second to think about it. Shut up, you get no time. The answer is Bible/fanfiction. Fanfiction about biblical characters basically having sex. Okay, so what could be possibly worse than that? Okay, so I'm guessing you're already guessing the answer. It's a webcomic about that, but you're not quite there. It's an amateurish, anime-inspired webcomic about that. A yaoi manga about God and the devil and so forth. So I thought about making maybe a script for this, doing a scripted video, but I usually write in some sort of jokes, but not this time. This time I decided, what? I think we should sort of go off the cuff on this. Okay, I'm just gonna read the first 100 pages of this thing, and we're gonna read them together. We're gonna experience them together. Okay. So with no further ado, let's really get into this. Okay, so here we have page 1. So you see the earth, you see God I think he's making people, and he's feeling lonely, and I know I'll make an angel. Okay, let's see what's next. Okay, so he makes Lucifer and immediately starts making out with Lucifer. Great. Okay, so we're off to a wonderful start. I'm gonna be cutting out a lot of this so we get to the best parts fast. Turmoil, nothing very interesting. And God and Satan are making out again. First of all, I love the trout mouths. See, and the sad thing is, this gets worse. Like, this is out of all the profile shots, this is actually one of the good ones, okay? Just keep that in mind. This is the best quality, and it gets worse. Something inside is telling him to kill. This is a very unexpected turn of events. So Lucifer is killing God. By the way, Lucifer and God are both handsome teenage anime boys with no shirts. With cargo pants. If you look closely, they both have cargo pants. And and here's some Sanskrit. Not sure why. And several years later, God is still a handsome anime boy. That's wonderful. So I skipped a few pages, and here's another good moment. So they have an intruder in heaven, and who could that be? It's Lucifer. Lucifer is back from hell, and he's still extremely gay. And okay, this is the best line. So Lucifer says, Jesus Christ. And then God says, don't use my son's name in vain. And he's like, you have a son? Then why? How'd you? What sense does that make? You just said the son's name. And of course they're still gay. Just want to mention that again, they're still gay. I really love the drama. This is the best part of this comic. And we're at page 25 and absolutely stunned. Okay? Absolutely stunned. He made fun of his hair, and Satan is absolutely stunned. Okay, so now we're introduced to another character. Who might be this black-haired boy who's dressed like Sasuke from Naruto? Who is it? I'll give you a guess. Oh, did you see this already? Yeah, it's Jesus. This is Jesus. Jesus Christ is an emo teenager. You couldn't make this shit up. So okay, moving to the next page. And Jesus likes Led Zeppelin. I hate this comic. And okay, so now we're revealed another important plot point. God and Satan used to have sex, but now they can't because back then sin didn't exist. Okay, so now sin exists and homosexuality is a sin. But of course that doesn't stop them, and soon after they're already making out again. And it's very graphic and I regret looking at it. Okay, so I skipped a few more pages. I could nitpick every single page on this comic, but I'll speed it up. And we're at page 32, and Lucifer has changed his name to Mortis. Lucifer, the Prince of Darkness, has changed his name to that of a penciled neck accountant. His name is Mortis now. So I skipped a couple pages more, and we're introduced to the giant eyeball of heaven. Okay, just so you know, in this comic, heaven has a giant eyeball that speaks in what, again, I think this is Sanskrit, and the giant eyeball rules heaven. It's not God. It's the giant eyeball, a giant eyeball that makes beeping and booping sounds, and it looks at God and it realizes that God is a big homo. So what happens next? The giant eyeball kills God. Okay, so sorry. Okay, next page. Oh, Jesus Christ. Who's Jesus Christ? Why did I say that? So the giant eyeball is murdering God, and God, I just keep scrolling past this, and just gonna skip a few pages. Oh my God! So I skipped a few pages, and does this look familiar to anyone? Okay. Let me help you out for a second. Huh? Right? You webcomic meme connoisseurs will appreciate this, right? This is perfect, right? So we're continuing to the climax here, and the giant eyeball that killed God in heaven is really making Satan, Mortis, so angry that his mouth detaches from his lips. He has the trout mouth disease, and Satan destroys the giant eyeball that controls heaven. And I don't know who this is. I'm not sure who this character is. I'm not sure who anyone is, because all of these characters look exactly the same, and it's all black and white. But he has a third eyeball, and I'm very confused at this point. But let's just keep going. And the devil blew up heaven and went back to hell, and I think now he's destroying hell as well. And yeah, okay, he blew up hell, and then oh God, it's coming. I actually read this comic before, so I know what's coming. I'll give you a reason to believe that God doesn't exist anymore, and guess what happens next? Guess what happens next? Okay, I wish I didn't have to use this fucking sound clip so often, but yeah, okay, so okay, so let's sum up. The devil changed his name to Mortis, and then caused 9/11 because a giant eyeball killed his gay lover, God. Okay, let's continue. Okay, so again, I skipped a few pages, but I already know what's coming, so I just want you to pay attention. We moved from one chapter and moved on to the next, and just look at the tagline of the next chapter and remember it, okay? God's story, hate the sin, love the sinner. I'm sure some of you are already guessing what's gonna happen, okay? So, okay, I skipped a few more pages ahead, skipped some boring exposition, and arrived here. So I know what's coming next, and so to remind you, the black-haired kid with the checkered bracelet from Hot Topic is, of course, Jesus Christ, and speaking of death, this other kid knows it, and he whispers it in his ear, and then he begins to rape him. Okay, I'm gonna have to censor a lot of this, but I'll just let's keep going. Okay, you're gonna have to imagine the rest of it. So this part I blocked out here. He's holding Jesus' penis, which is made entirely of light, and we move on. And this is a picture I wish I could show you because it's comically inept, but unfortunately I can't without getting banned, so that's blocked out. And this is, I should mention, it's not just rape, it's S&M rape. There's a lot of, in this comic, there are a lot of whips, chains, and let me just clue you in, this other kid who's raping Jesus Christ is the devil's son, okay? It's not Big L, but it is the devil's son, and he uses his magic to tie up Jesus, and this very quickly turns into a horrible sex scene. I have to block out this entire page. I can't even show a little of it. A lot of poorly drawn penises that look like floppy bananas. You have to block out everything here too. More floppy penises. But it's a pretty graphic depiction of our Lord Jesus Christ being raped. And this goes on for some pages. I mean, unlike a lot of things that get sort of rushed through in this comic, this goes on and on. Because the person who's drawing this is really enjoying drawing this. He jerked off this. Okay, let's not be coy. This is his porn, and he posted it online. But we're nearing page 100. We're at page 75, I think. Let's go on. Let's keep going. Okay, so I skipped a few more pages, and I had to stop here. Before I even get into that, look at this picture. What the hell? Their mouths are going further and further away from their lips, and deeper and deeper into their cheeks. So the plot now is that they're going to sacrifice their immortality and sanity to bring God and the devil back to life with a spell. And by the way, that spell also involves, I think it involves more gay sex. Okay, so they make out a little bit, and God and Satan are back alive again, and they're still handsome anime boys. And oh god, so this is the most that face you make when you hear someone talking shit. This is when you leave your candy bar on the counter and you see someone reaching for it. This is so. Not only has his lip has his mouth moved into his cheek, now his eye is he's like a fucking trout, seriously. So this is some beautiful art again, and I've completely lost track of what I'm reading. I don't even understand who this is. So I guess this is the devil's son, and he's lost his sanity. Let's see what happens next. Alright, so next page, and Satan and God are at the cemetery to visit Jesus' grave, and God is wearing a t-shirt about how big his dick is. Perfect. That is exactly the t-shirt I would imagine God wearing. I mean, that and shut up bitch and make me a sandwich. That's definitely one of the 2 t-shirts he would be wearing. Also, meninist t-shirt. Definitely a meninist t-shirt. That is the wardrobe of God. No question about it. Definitely. I almost clicked past this page, but then I had to stop. So God and Satan, God and Mortis, are at the cemetery at their dead children's son, and just as they're about to walk away, they discuss going back to heaven and fucking a lot. We're almost at page 100. We're at page 98. Let's see what the rest has to show us. I don't want to see what the rest has to show us. I regret clicking that. This is an abomination. Page 100, please let the torture end. Okay, thank God, the end. But it's not actually the end, because this comic actually has roughly 216 pages. Now, let me give you some backstory to this. It's made by a guy named Moonlover, guy or girl. He's transsexual, I think. At least he was when he was making this. And I came across this comic first time when I still am the admin of the Bad Webcomic Wiki. It's a website where we make fun of really bad webcomics, and occasionally you find one that is what I'm looking for in this show, something that's so bad it's actually good. And this was one of them. See, this guy who made this comic is completely crazy. He's a lunatic. He has a ton of comics like this, and we made a review. He made some kind of insane rant replying to the review, and said he doesn't care. But of course, about 2 pages later, the comic just abruptly ended. Okay, he said on page 216 that he will not end his comic, and then he stopped updating for about a year and then added 1 more page, and that was the end. No more. So at least we rid the internet of this this amalgamation of horrible, awful things. I'm stopping at page 100, even though this has a little over 200 pages. But let me tell you a few more great things that happen in the future of this comic, if you want to check it out yourself. Gabriel gets into a relationship with Jesus, who is alive again somehow, and rapes him again. He has a penis and tits for no apparent reason. God gave him tits as a joke. Then the devil's son, comes back to life, and now his name is Buddha, and his name is Buddha, and he likes to jerk off while watching people hang themselves and looking at videos of people falling out of the Twin Towers. And just every single page of this reeks of incompetence, and I highly recommend to everyone to go read this fucking abortion. I hope you enjoyed this episode. No, that's a lie. I actually don't care. Don't like, don't comment, don't subscribe. Get the fuck out of here. Good night.